Hello. Sorry about the slight delay. I'm a minute late. It's having some technical issues. Right, before I get started, this is the link for people who want to join. I'm doing a open live tonight. So it's very much a case of we have a subject, but I'm going to be inviting anyone who wants to come on for a chat. Let me just pop this here into YouTube itself. Let me open up my YouTube channel for the live, and then we'll get cracking. Or if any of the admin people can do that for me, oh, let me mute that. That'd be really handy. Let me see if I've still got the link. Right, I'll come to that in a minute. But if any of the spanners can do that, that makes life nice and easy because we have someone who's come straight in. So let me go back to StreamYard. Tommy Trades. Are you there? Can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Give me just one moment and I'll have my camera on. I'm just getting my final things set up.
No, you're fine, absolutely fine. I'll have a quick chat to the people and say a few hellos. But yeah, just so, as I said, if anyone wants to join, like Tommy Trades has, please feel free. I think I've got a limit of 5 on this one, but we can jump in and out. If people are waiting, I can boot someone out once I've had a chat and stuff. But tonight, I just want to talk about how far people travel to source stock. And that's really come from the Car Boot Roadshow I've been doing, where I've been traveling all over the UK. So really, yeah, just wanted to find out from people in the chat tonight how far they travel. Sorry, let me sort out my camera a bit more. There we go. It's been a bit of a rush this evening, but let me say a few hellos in the chat while Tommy sorts his camera out. But if anyone wants to jump in, please join the link I've pinned onto YouTube. So feel free to come and join. Even if you don't want your camera on, even if you don't do YouTube, anyone's welcome to come and join. So RS is in. Good evening, good evening. Lucy's in. And Lucy, I saw here, says, can't tonight, but another night would love to. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and do some more of these open chats with people. So it's very much a case of the chat's open, come and join, a bit like I've done on a 24-hour stream, and just try and run that a bit more. Let me see who else is in. Babs at the Attic is in. Hope everyone is doing good. Aaron's in. Leanne is in, AC Global Reselling is in, Married to Reselling's in as well. Let me just see. Kathy is in, Ian J's in, Damien's in. Tommy's other half is here, waiting for his debut on Bold Finds Live. Brilliant. So let's get into it. So how far we travel to the car boot. So Damien is saying, I average 200 miles over a weekend for boot sales. I would say I probably do the same with regards to the mileage on my normal car boot sales, because it's about a 40-minute drive to my Saturday one, probably about a 40-minute drive to the Sunday one as well. And once you work out what that is to and from, it's probably slightly under 200 miles, but I say it's probably about 120 miles. Yesterday was a long drive for me. As I say, I left the house at 3:15 yesterday morning. Got to the car boot sale just after 5:30, and then I'll just get George in. Hello, mate. And then I got home last night about 9:30 after the whole day. But that wasn't just car boot sales. That was watching my cousin who won his football match for Aspire. It was on BT Sport. He plays Power League football, and they won the final. So it was really good to go and watch. Let's have a look here. Right, so as you guys have joined, let's start with Tommy Trades. Let's start with you. How far do you tend to travel to your car boot sales or to source items?
Well, I've typically been sourcing a lot from charity shops more than car boot sales recently.
Yeah.
And it was like a big thing for me to actually get back out to a car boot sale. Like it's been a few years since I've been to one, and I was getting really excited, feeling all the FOMO of everyone getting to them. And I was trying to plan like the closest ones that I could remember. But I personally don't drive. So for me to hit up a car boot sale, I've either got to get an Uber or a taxi or find someone else who's going and kind of bandwagon it with them or catch a bus, and then I'm only limited by what I can carry all the way home. So I'm in a lucky position where I have 4 charity shops in my local sort of circle, and once a week, if not in the weekdays, I can sort of do an hour-long walk and hit up 4 different charity shops, come home, and stock myself up basically with as much as I can carry. But it's not so much of a distance thing for me, it's more of a weight issue. Like how much can I physically carry with me at once?
So does that tend to? I mean, what is it you sell, Tommy? Do you predominantly sell a certain category, or you're an everything seller like we all start out as, and most of us continue as, to be honest?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an everything seller. I definitely, wherever there's some money to be made, I'm happily get involved in it.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the more exciting things for me with eBay in general is like I get fascinated every day when every time I'm researching, there's always something new that I didn't know you could sell or that you could make
Sure.
money with. And that is almost what I find myself in the thrill of the hunt for, is
Yeah.
finding a new area of products. Because I'm into my nostalgia, I'm into games and figurines and all those kind of things. But it's hard and few, like you don't always come across that stuff. So you have to kind of put that to one side and find something new to keep you engaged and keep you wanting to go every time. Because if I
Yeah.
was just into games, every time I hit up my one local charity shop, there's not
Mm.
much difference in what they've putting out each time. So I've started dabbling in clothing. I've started dabbling with like women's shoes and women's like jewelry and stuff like that. Simply from the case of looking it up while I'm in the shop, realizing there could be some money to be made, and I'm like, right, I'll take it home and have an experiment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess for you, like you say, because you don't drive, it limits the amount of, I guess, big, heavy items you can pick up because you don't want to be carrying 2 IKEA bags full of bowls, lawn bowls, whatever, home. It's not the most ideal thing. Just quickly, where can people find you as well with social media? So I'm right, you have a channel, don't you? YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah.
So plug that. So how can
Awesome.
people find you on YouTube and Instagram?
Find me on YouTube at Tommy Trades. You can type in Tommy Trades 96 if it doesn't come up. But I think I've done my justice in the in the YouTube algorithm now, and it finally comes up with my name if you just search for Tommy Trades. And the same on Instagram, Tommy Trades or Tommy Trades 96.
Amazing. Good stuff. Right, let's get to Georgie then. Sorry,
You've got
Georgie.
to stick around. If you watch Tommy's video, stick around to the end because he does outtakes and they're really funny.
I think. Do you know what? I've seen it. I've seen a few of your videos on YouTube. The outtakes are really good. I don't do enough outtakes because sometimes with my videos, I get messages from people saying, "You're so polished. You never make mistakes in your videos and what you say." I said, "Yeah, but you're only seeing what I'm showing you. You haven't seen the 500 times I've had to record my intro where I just don't get my words out." So I might start adding some outtakes. But yeah, I've seen a few other channels do outtakes, and it is good to actually see like the bits they mess up on. So
people seem to really like it as well. Like for the feedback I've got from it is people are hanging around to the end because they want to watch the outtakes. Even if I carry on talking for a bit long about the stuff that I found, they skip ahead and just have a little laugh at myself,
Good stuff. Georgie, what about you then? So how far do you travel to Souce? Or how far are you willing to travel? Maybe that's the question, because you might sort of travel 10 minutes to your local car boot, but how far would you be willing to travel?
The furthest car boot that I've been to is one that you were at the other week, just gone, Sutton Coldfield.
Yeah.
That's the furthest one that I've been to. Yeah, that's usually like my brother. He goes to like Birmingham a lot, so like whenever we go, we're like, oh, we'll come and pick you up on the Sunday, and then I can go to the car boot in the morning. So yeah, that's always the excuse anyway. Oh, come and pick you up, go to Reboot. So yeah, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how long I mean, it depends. Sometimes when I used to source off of Facebook before loads of people started putting stuff up online and people just wanted to get rid of stuff, Facebook Marketplace when it first started was really good for sourcing. And I'd travel. I wouldn't travel a hell of a lot way, but probably about 10 10 miles, 10, 15 miles for sure. Depending on what it is. If it was like an N64, I would have like, yeah, right. But if it was like a bundle or something, I'd be a bit more hesitant. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It depends what it is, isn't it? If you know what the item is, then you've got your own kind of like, oh, it'll sell for this much. You've got to take into account your time and the cost of petrol or bus or train or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If for a specific item, probably only about 10 miles. But like, if I'm going to like a car boot, I don't know if I'd go all the way to Scotland for a car boot, unless I was doing.
I haven't done it yet.
No, yeah, you haven't done it yet. You'll have to.
Yeah, I see what you mean in that sense, because I think you're right. If you're going for a pickup and you know you're spending £100 on something, but it's going to have all your stock there for the next couple of months, you'd probably end up traveling 2 or 3 hours if it meant that. But you wouldn't travel 2 or 3 hours if you're going to pick up a Nerf gun for a £5 and you're going to flip for £15-20.
Yeah.
So it's very much a case of the amount you're going to get or the quality of the stuff you're going to get.
Well, exactly. You don't know the quality until you get there sometimes. I mean, you could go, I think there was a case, I can't remember who it was. Someone was talking about like, oh, they were going back and forth on Facebook Marketplace with a seller, and they got there and it was absolute naff. It was just battered to bits. I've forgotten what I think it was some computer games, they were in a terrible state. But yeah, I think one great way of, if say like I'm just like in Cheshire, but I would travel to Manchester because it's not that far really, but I would do other things along the way. So I'd account for it in my travel. So like, or, I've got friends there, so I'll go, oh, I'm coming around, but then I'll pick something up along the way, or like, I'll do other stuff. So it's not like a complete, waste of like a day or something. So
yeah, I just highlighted that. Kathy said exactly the same in the chat. We'll travel a fair way on car boot days, but it's a day out, not sourcing, day out sourcing, I think she means. So basically, if you're going to kind of do it, you're doing it for a reason in that sense. Or you can say, do you know what, on the way to this car boot sale, we can stop at this car boot sale on the way to it, and we can go to another one afterwards, or on the way back, we can go to another one a bit later. So yeah, I think to travel quite far, there has to be more involved than just a morning car boot, because even on the road show, and talking about e-boot was amazing, and amazing in ways where it's a completely different way of life to even what we have down where I am in Addlestone and Surrey. And I was saying to Brum, John Reseller, and that video comes out tonight for the e-boot one. There, I won't give any big spoilers away, but there was a fight at e-boot. And another one, and Brum caught, he told me he caught some really good footage of it. And I just missed out. And I start my video tonight, you'll see there's people talking about part of it. But the boot sale is just, I mean, I didn't get loads of stuff at the car boot sale. I'm not sourcing heavily at the moment because I've got loads of bits anyway. But I didn't get loads of stuff at that car boot sale. So for me, the reason I'm traveling around is to do the boot sale roadshow for eBay, but also for YouTube content, to go and show people different car boot sales. But if I traveled that far just because someone had said it's a good car boot sale, I think I only picked up 6 or 7 items. So to travel that far for 7 items and travel back, I mean, yesterday probably cost me £40 in petrol just for the travel side, and it's the time involved. So no, I completely agree. You kind of need to know what you're going to be traveling for. But, for the likes of Dunton and Essex, where I've been, that's a good hour-and-a-half journey. But I would go there most weekends because I know how big it is, and I got so much good stuff from there last time. So by trialing new car boot sales, you get a feel of what kind of things you might find. And don't get me wrong, every car boot sale is different. We know that. You never know what you're going to find at a car boot sale. Yeah, and sometimes you can go to the smallest car boot sale and it could be the best thing. And sometimes you go to the biggest and it's the worst. So let me just catch up in the chat quickly. I'm trying to keep in control best I can. Lionel Vinci says that 45-minute drive is the maximum. Let me just go down here. Lee's in. If I've missed anyone, apologies. I'm going to try and say hello to everyone. Lucy's saying here, my favourite car boot sale is 27.9 miles away. Very precise. You put that in the sat nav many a time, Lucy. But if we are talking about Facebook Marketplace, because sometimes more profit in the bundle, she will go further. So yeah, very similar to what you're saying there. Depends on the item. Leah's saying, I travelled 60 miles once for one of my car boot sales. Well, Lee, that's nothing compared to what I done yesterday. Tamabel have put Tommy's YouTube in there. Everyone probably knows who follows me that Georgie's also got a YouTube channel. So also one of my spammers put Georgie's in there as well. And please go and show them guys some love. As I say, if anyone else wants to come on and promote their channel or talk about this subject, or even just come on for a chat about anything else, the link is pinned on the YouTube page. So please come and join us. GT is in. I didn't say hello, Tamabel, but thank you, Tamabel, and hello to you guys as well. As I keep mentioning, when I finally do get up to Scotland for the part of the roadshow, I'm going to meet up with Tamabel because they were early doors onto my channel on the live, and I want to go and experience Scotland the Tamabel way. Let's have a look. Pete's in. Hope you're well, Pete. Let me just get to the bottom of the chat. Spectrum Flipper is in. Hope everyone is doing good. Richard's in. All right, now I'm at the bottom. Here we go. Oh, here we are. James, I did mean that it's a day out. The sourcing is incidental. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is you will travel far if there's another reason to go instead of going to a car boot sale. And that was a little bit of the reason why I went down to Birmingham yesterday. Is because I said I was heading to St George's Park, and the funny thing about that, I thought St George's Park was in London, which is not too far from me. And it was only on a Saturday morning when I was sitting in the car boot sale queue, I actually put it in the sat nav to see how far it was away, and I realised how far up north it is, which made my decision to go and do the road show. And I actually visited the car boot sale just outside of Derby as well, so I kind of ticked 2 roadshow episodes in the same day, which was quite handy to do. But yeah, I agree. It's very much a case of if you're going to be traveling far, you need a reason to do it, and it might not be reselling related as well. So
a question to add to that I'd have for you is, and especially other people saying like they'll travel 30 miles or 60 miles, like the amount of time that's going to take you to get there, like are you going to are you paying yourself per hour that you're driving there as well, like as much as you've then got to pay for the petrol to get there, or the train ticket, or however it is you're going to get there? Like, is that how you're operating with yourself?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, and I think with regards to YouTube, it makes it easier for me to justify doing this around the UK. Don't get me wrong, I'm very open and honest with my YouTube figures. In fact, I'm thinking about doing a video next month, because it's going to be a year on YouTube for me, actually doing a breakdown of what I've earned in the first year of doing YouTube, because it's kind of that taboo subject that not many people want to kind of say, this is how much I earn. And it's not a lot for your first year doing YouTube. So actually doing the roadshow, I'm losing money effectively by traveling to all these places. When we go to Scotland, it's going to be a flight. It's basically cost me a holiday to go to Scotland, because the missus was like, there's no chance you're going to Scotland without me. So all of these things I'm doing, but the long term for me is I want to see what it's like at different car boot sales. That's the reason I wanted to do the roadshow, because in my head, all the car boot sales are like my local one down the road. And already I've seen, even just traveling a couple of hours up north, how different it is compared to what they are here. And when I've been to Exmouth and Exeter to see my brother and stuff, I've gone to a car boot sale there where I saw Car Boot Chris. And they're so chilled. There's none of this pushing in front of people. There's none of this jumping in people's boots. And it's just a different way of life, where at the e-boot one, my God, are they not chilled? It's straight in there. And I was saying to John, like, I've never experienced this. It's like straight. And you've got to be quick. Even quicker than you are mine. Yeah.
It is brutal. There's a lot of house clearances, or there were the last time I went. But the time before, but the last time that I went, I was like, we were going to pick up my brother, but there's a tip shop in Cannock, which is literally on the way. So I go there and it's open on a Sunday. So I usually go there, but then head on to the car boot, and it's mental, isn't it? There's people like pushing and shoving, and you can smell weed all the time when you're around there.
Oh yeah, there was so much.
Big whiffs of it. I was like, it's like 7 a.m. Why? But yeah, it's definitely an experience, and it's been voted the best car boot of the UK for like 3 years running. Apparently, that's what the owner says. So I'm just like, and I think his license plate is car boot. When you go in, it's really funny.
I don't want to give loads of spoilers, because I obviously need to plug the video that's coming out tonight, which shows a bit of this as well. But Brum sorted me out. He messaged me on Saturday evening. I was at a family barbecue, And he messaged me and he was like, "Hi mate, I know you're coming down tomorrow. I've sorted you out VIP entry and you get special parking and all this stuff." And you know what John's like, bruv? He's always on the wind up. So I messaged back saying, "You're having me on it. You want me to go to the guys at the gate and be like, 'Hi, I'm Bold Fines, like I'm a big shot,' and they're going to start laughing." But lo and behold, when I turned up, I showed the guy the message and I said, like, "Is Brub Resale having me on?" And no, he wasn't. I got free entry to the car boot. They offered to park me in like the special place where he parks, and I'm like, "I'll just park over there. It's fine. I'm nothing special." But it's nice when people think of you and actually like want to help you out, and that's going to be nice to me traveling around the UK because even at the other road shows, I've met other people. I saw a lady called Crystal, who I know from the Daily Refinement Group at this e-boot, and I didn't even know she was from that area. And it was random. She was like, "Hi, James," and it was to her. And it's just nice to go and see other people and experience different car boot sales and stuff. But yeah, the owner wasn't there. He was at Glastonbury, but he's so excitable. I've seen him on John's channel, and I can see why he voted because he loves it. He promotes it so well, and people want to go there just because of his promotion. So yeah, fair play. Just shout out a few more people. Paul is in. Hillary is in. Gigi, I think that is. I'd love to go to Scotland. Yeah, I've never been to Scotland. I've done Wales. We've been to Ireland. Ireland was amazing, I must say. But never been to Scotland. Either of you been to Scotland at all?
No, I've not been to Scotland.
I have been to Scotland, and I haven't been to any car boots there, but I've been to charity shops in Glasgow and Edinburgh, but that's about it really. I've been to Ireland the other week, and I'll be weirdly when you're talking about how far you'll travel to Souce. I'm going on holiday, but I'm going to I'm having like an extended weekend away in August to Brussels. So you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be sourcing there. And I was looking at flights to maybe the Netherlands because it's the world's largest, not the world's, Europe's largest flea market is in Amsterdam. So I was thinking maybe
isn't it weird as resellers how we book holidays or time away? And I do this all the time. It's like we'll go away for a weekend, but in my head I'm always thinking like, right, the first thing I need to check is not where we're going to stay, it's where the nearest car boot sale is compared to where we're planning on staying, and let's try and make it quite close. And yeah, last time we went down to Cornwall for a couple of days and stuff. And bless her, the wife, we got to the hotel, checked in, really nice hotel, blah, blah, blah. And it was meant to be a relaxing time. And Esme goes on Facebook and I was like, "Oh, they've got a jumble sale tonight on a Thursday. That's a bit weird. It's only down the road." And I dragged her along to that and got some good bits from that. But, you know, you need to make the compromise. It can't always be work, but it's difficult when it's the weekend and car boots are on.
Yeah, I went to a wedding in what's that place just north of Blackpool? It's just north of Blackpool. And yeah, we went for a wedding there, and there was a car boot on down the road on the Sunday. So the wedding was on the Saturday, and everybody was nursing a hangover, including myself. And I rolled out of bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning to go to this car boot. Came back, sourced, came back, fell asleep, and they didn't know I'd gone.
Yeah, it's the commitment to the cause, isn't it? AC Global is saying, "I've only been to car boot sale 4 times in my life and it's 10 minutes away from my house. I get so much from the charity shops, Vinted and local clothing wholesaler." Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, I always say in my videos, you can't just rely on the car boot sale. If I did, for instance, at eBoot, I got 7 items. And at the moment, I'm doing 20 items a day. So that's not even a whole day's worth of stock for me. So where do you guys kind of use as your sources? Is it very similar? Do you use other websites? Do you snipe up eBay? Because I don't really go to many charity shops, just a local one down the road. But what do you guys do? Do you have kind of loads of different ways you source, or do you tend to favor one way?
I mean, mainly I kind of rely on charity shops at the moment, or I have been for like weekly and sort of like weekly sourcing. But as you're saying, like combining going places with an activity or a day out. Like one of my earlier videos was me and Gigi went to Bath. For us to have a day out, we went and had a meal. We had a nice look around, but we also stopped in all the charity shops and found loads of good finds. And that trip essentially paid for itself in the long run. Like it doesn't instantly, obviously, you know, you have to list it and it takes time to get a return on the items that you find. But if we'd have just gone there and had a good time and not sourced, it would have been a pure expense to me. Whereas there's also an excitement in like, oh, if we find enough things, we can pay for this trip we've just had and even profit from it.
Yeah,
So
I
find
did that.
that quite
I do
exciting.
that a lot when going sourcing. I try and justify it when it comes to trips away. You know, well, this trip away has cost us £300. So if I do go out source at the car boot that weekend, I try and think to myself, well, I've actually paid for the trip in a way. And
Yeah.
you're completely right, Tommy, where you say it's not instantly, but you kind of say, well, do you know what? When all this sells, it has kind of paid for the trip. And it's an interesting way to look at it. I think a lot of us resellers do that because I think I don't know about you guys, and I say like I'm speaking for myself here. I hate going to shops now and paying full price for anything
Yeah.
because I'm so used to going to the car boot or wherever and getting it for cheaper than what the person's asking most of the time. So I think it's that reseller mentality where you don't actually want to go and pay for things when you can avoid it.
I definitely.
What did you think of? What did you think of Bath? I used to live in Bath, funnily enough, and it's a
I
lovely
love
place.
Bath. It's such a beautiful city, and I find it has such a nice atmosphere around. Like, it's busy, but there's always space. You're never like stood on top of someone. And yeah, I don't know. You can't resist a toffee apple from there. They're too good.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Georgie? What's your sourcing strategy, if you have one? Because I sometimes think I do, and then sometimes I really don't.
Yeah, I think my sourcing strategy is wing it.
Yeah, that's what I try and do most of the time.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a strategy or not. I don't know. I know. Avoid British Art Foundation like the plague. That's just me personally. I've got a personal vendetta, but yeah, go to hospices. That's really the small ones, the smaller charities. Support them because they're usually a bit cheaper. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hit all the charity shops really, but like, you know, so I mean, I'm quite lucky. I've got quite a lot of different places. I've got quite an affluent area to say like the left to the west of us, but then we've got quite a, I don't want to say poor area, but it is technically like a poorer area. But I've gotten more stuff from there than I have from the affluent area. Why? Because the affluent area is sky high in prices, and the other one is down south in Stoke. It's not as pricey to get, you know, a few bits. I mean, just case in point, there was a John Smedley top for like a tenner in Alsacia, where it's just over there. But in Stoke, I found it for £2.75, the same one.
Right.
It's such a difference. And when we're literally dealing in pennies and pounds at the end of the day, us. So, and particularly if you do like below what we all do, like, you know, the most of us. So it's yeah, you've got to kind of watch what you're doing, and like you say, it's timing as well. It's all about your time. You've got to figure out how much your travel is. Like my lock at my unit. What I've literally done it today. I've gone to pick up my orders, and along the way, I've stopped off at other things because I need to get a couple of birthday cards, and right next to that there's a Bernardo's and a Costa. So I'll just hit them in succession. And then there's like one of my honey holes that I like going to. They were open today, and it's like a tiny little church charity shop, and I cleaned up a bit. So but I went in like a couple of weeks ago and there was nothing. So it's like I say, it's hit and miss, but if you pick up something, it's always worth it, and it's fun as well. You get like a boost. And let's face it, shopping. This is the best job ever because we get to shop.
we get to shop as much as we want, really, and that's a strange thing because really you can just keep shopping, and just keep listing, and that's our job effectively, isn't it? We shop, we research, we list the item, and then we send it off to someone and hope they don't return it. Hope we don't get any difficult customers. That's basically what we do. Richard's saying here on the Costa thing, by the way, I refuse to go charity shopping unless I have a coffee to start things off. So that's my rules. Richard's saying regularly travel 50 to 60 mile round trip to the boot. So yeah, that's probably what I travel as well for my ones at the weekends. All business miles anyways, absolutely. We'll travel further. It was worth it. Talking to Devon is more laid back. Absolutely. Let me just see in case I've missed anything in the chat. I have a Saturday routine for charity shops. County Durham 1 week, Tyneside the next, Teesside the next, etc. Biggest round trip is about 40 miles. Yeah, I think it's good you can do that. On a Saturday, I try and go to the one, and if I fancy, I can go to a second one. And on the Sundays, the same. I could go to effectively 3 car boot sales if I wanted to. But that is a long trip and a long day because all 3 of these car boot sales on a Sunday are quite big as well. Yes, Kareem's in. Fuzzy Feet Footwear is in. Again, he has loads of these people, by the way, I'm highlighting have YouTube channels. So if anyone wants to plug their YouTube channel, get the spanners to put it in the chat because I always like to plug other people. Now, Paul is someone I see at my Saturday car boot sale, and he also comes to my local charity shop. He's a bit of a stalker, really. But he says, I always save you a place at a Salvation Army. Well, luckily, we pick up different things, my friends. So I never have to worry about you as competition. GT Pre-Loved, I've just come back from a 2-week holiday in France. Ooh la la. I managed to find a jumble sale every day for the first 4 days. So I've spoke to quite a few clothing resellers who say you can get some really, 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 really good clothing from France, really cheap. So they, similar to what you were saying, Georgie, about going overseas for a sourcing trip. I know a few of them a couple of times a year, instead of going to France for the booze that everyone used to always do, they now go to France and pick up loads of clothing to bring back and sell on UK eBay. And some of the stuff sells really well. So there's a little tip for everyone tonight. Go to France for a holiday for 2 weeks like GT, but do a bit of sourcing like Eden as well. A jumble sale every day for the first 4 days. That's a good effort. Do you guys go to jumble sales and jumble trails?
I haven't seen a jumble sale in years.
Really? Whereabouts do you live?
I'm in Bristol. I'm in Filton, which is like outside of the city centre. That was something I was going to say to what you were saying, Georgie, about like the different areas. Is that like where in my local charity shops, it's like you can pay £1 for a t-shirt. Whereas the closer you get into the city centre, you're paying £10-15 for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because it's vintage or because it's class or because it's this. And it's interesting to see that. But I was also going to sprinkle on like making the relationships with people in these places. I find that is another thing that I do. Even if I don't find anything, I'm happy I went there and I spoke to someone and I can say, well, I still had a nice conversation with someone I wouldn't have had if I'd have just stayed home or if I'd have just did nothing. And even if you don't find anyone to talk to, you can say, at least I got outside today. I went for a walk. I gave myself some headspace. It's like, always trying to find the silver lining, you know?
I'm not flexing, but just on that relationship point, I'm a bit of a kind of like, I'm tunnel vision when I go out in the source, and like, I look scary and big and like, I'm, you know, but I'm not. Just say hello, I'm fine. But I'll go to this church charity shop and they're really friendly and they talk to me and everything. And so they know me and I've been going in for that. And literally a few months ago, I went in and she goes, oh, do you like computer games? I was like, go on then. And they pulled out like a load of SNES stuff. This is my it's my personal one now because I didn't have it. I've got like a Retron 5, which is all backwards compatible. But I thought, no, I've got this one now, and I'm not giving it up. It's mine. But it was this and a load of games and a load of like Dr. Mario stuff and a load of Game Boy stuff. Everything's sold, and she wanted 20 quid for it all. And she said, I'll do it for 20 quid. I was like, oh, fab.
Wow.
And so she says, oh, I just need to shift stuff. And so, yeah, really nice. Yeah. So, I mean, a good point. Ricky Lee does this. He's a bit of a charmer, isn't he? He goes in, it's like, oh, can I have a look at the back? And yeah.
I used to have a charity shop when I first started reselling. I had a charity shop lady who took my number and used to WhatsApp me every couple of days and say, James, I've got a bag full of stuff for you. James, I've got this. James, I've got that. And I remember one time I popped in and she had, you know, them Bose dock sound systems that go for about £100. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they're the docking ones. Nice Bose, nice big size. She had a bag of 6 of them. And I walked in there and she was like, oh, yeah, I'll put these aside for you. I know you like doing your electricals and stuff. And I was like, I said to her, these are like really good stuff. Like, who's donated this kind of thing? She's like, I haven't tested them, I haven't tested them. I said, you tell me what you want for them. And she was like, 30 quid for the bag. And I was like, no, it's too cheap. So I gave her 50 quid. And sometimes doing them little things to the charity shop goes a long way because they see you as someone who's reliable, someone who's honest in a way. You know, I'm not going to say to her, these are worth 600 quid, here's 500. You know, we've got to make money as resellers. But I think sometimes you're right. Building them relationships with charity shops goes a long way. And a lot of people are scared to tell the charity shops what they do. You know, my charity shop down the road, a lot of them watch my YouTube stuff. A lot of them now come up to me in the charity shop and say, oh, James, I know you're selling more clothing now. This is a good brand. And funny enough, they've taught me a few good brands that I picked up from them. I mean, it's not an amazing brand, but a brand called Pretty Green. I'd never heard of it before coming into clothing.
Yeah.
And I got a shirt for £1 from them, and it sold for about 25. And if they can keep giving me these £1 and £25 flips for a charity shop I can walk to down the road at lunchtime, happy days. So yeah, I always encourage people to, not just at charity shops, but anywhere you go, let people know what we do. There's a real taboo about reselling, isn't there? About how we're all animals, we're all in it for the money, and that's all we care about. And some of us are, including me, but we are nice people.
It's becoming more of a trending thing as well. And like at the end of the day, what are people doing all day long when they're working a job that they hate? They're trying to make money to live a life, to pay for something. And it's like, if you could be making some extra money in your lunch break, if you could be doing it on your way home, like, it's not that we're doing something bad or taboo. Like, we're doing the same thing that every single business in the world does. It buys something cheaper and it sells it more expensive. And it's actually through that point that I was able to get a better relationship with my local charity shop. Like, I told them exactly what I do. And if they, as you were saying, like, someone will message me on WhatsApp and let me know if there's anything that I'm particularly interested in or they think I'd be into. And I say, like, oh, that's worth this much. Like, how much do you want me to pay for it? Because there's a part of me that wants to collect this stuff, and there's another part of me that wants to sell it on. And like, sometimes I'll put something on the shelf, have love with it for a month, and then I'll list it on eBay. And it's like, I don't need to hold on for it. I'm just happy it's sort of passed through my hands. But I find it interesting because the more that you can educate them on what this stuff is, they get so much stock in that half of it doesn't even go on the shop. So when you're going in there and you're trying to source and you're like, oh, there's nothing new, if you were trying to tell them what was actually worth them putting out, there would be more stock that you'd be interested in looking at. I've had that exact same thing happen with video games and figures in my local shop. Now they know that that's what I'm into. I've seen much more of them coming out of the backlog and onto the shop floor.
Of course, yeah. Like Georgie was saying there, how he gets someone who says, "Are you into this, into that?" And now he said yes, he'll take the video games. Next time they get a big bundle of video games, and they'll probably bag them up and put them out the back until he's next in the charity shop. So straight away, that relationship's there for life, effectively, or until they leave the charity shop, or until they get caught and told off for whatever reason.
But also, like, if you're going into the same charity shops like once a month or once every couple of weeks, they know. They know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah, they're not silly. You're not just a casual shopper where you're buying so many random different items and you're buying clothing in all different sizes. And there's only so many times you can say, oh, it's for someone in the family, isn't it? Before they kind of think like you're just bullshitting me. So let me catch up in the chat. Bearded Carp Puller is in, said, wear chap in black white top from sounds Bristolian, and you was absolutely right. And even the way you put that in the chat like that, it sounds like Bristolian. Chop is in. Let me just catch up. Yeah, Kathy's saying Tesco don't like it when you try and haggle. Yeah, it's not like a car boot sale. So, but it's true what you were saying earlier, Tommy, about how, everyone effectively is that reseller. Tesco's aren't buying the steaks in at $5.99. They're buying them in at 20p and selling to you at $5.99, etc. So everyone does it. Right, this is a big push now. 12 more for 200 on Tommy's channel. So we have 63 people in the chat currently, and there'll be people watching the replay. So everyone go and hit that subscribe button. Let's get Tommy up to 200 before midnight tonight. And then he'll probably message me on Instagram and thank me for shouting out. But let's push it and let's get Tommy up to 200.
Oh, bless
and
you.
There
Thank
we are.
So much.
George's channel as well. Get George up to 20,000 tonight. That's what we're going to push. 20,000 subscribers tonight.
It's weird because I've got like a load of subscribers from my island video, and it hit over 1,000 views. I was like, oh my God, this is like amazing. And then my second one has got like 100 views. I was like, oh, that didn't last long.
That's YouTube. That's YouTube. YouTube's like eBay, isn't it? Like one moment you're buzzing. You've had a £200 day or a £100 day on eBay, and you're walking around with all the jingle in your pocket. Next day it's a £20 day, and you're like, yeah, eBay's just slapped me because it's given me a good day. And YouTube does the same. One video's a great video, and you're like, do you know what? I've mastered YouTube now. I'm the YouTube sensation. No one can touch me. next video flops and you're back to square one again. So that's the life. That's why we do it. New name for me. Apologies if you have been in, by the way, because I see so many names. But Cherry Potato Joyce, welcome.
Cherry is Kathy's daughter.
Oh, okay. You know all the links of the daughters. I was because sometimes you get Richie and you get Rich's mum, and you get Rich's daughter as well, all in the same live, and it's like it's a family event. A question here. I'm letting you guys answer this one first of all. Is everyone's charity shops dried out a bit? I've been charity shops twice last week, twice week before. Brought one pair of shoes, so I've had to start buying stock from vintage sale after watching Fuzzy Feet. So, do you feel your charity shops are overpopulated or not getting the stuff in, or do you feel the charity shops are pricing too high where they're not getting enough stuff out to bring new stuff out?
Personally, I've sourced more recently than I ever have from charity shops. They've had more stock than I've ever seen them have, and especially stuff that I'm interested in, either to like keep for myself because I've got a little games collection and stuff like that, or to like take on. And I don't know if that's because I've been able to build up some momentum and expand my budget a bit more to be able to take on more, as well as build a relationship so that there's more they're sending my way. I think it's a combination of all of these things. But even in the few other local charity shops that I've neglected for the past month, I visited a couple of days ago, and I'm supposed to be on a spending ban, but I couldn't resist what was in front of me. And I was like, I cannot believe how much stock is just here. And it's just lying here and no one's picking it up. And I was like, I'm seeing, it's like no one else can see what you're seeing. It's like you've got a certain vision for it. But personally, I would say there's more stock out at the moment than there ever has been. And I don't know if that's people doing a summer clean out. But yeah, what about you? What are you finding?
Well, first of all, if we go back to the spending ban, that's not a real thing when it comes to resellers, because the amount of times I put myself on a buying ban, and I've done it last week. It was Tuesday last week, and in the morning I said, right, I've got such a big backlog of stock I need to just list. So I don't need any more items. I've got stacks of clothes. I've got half a garage full of unlisted stuff that I need to get listed up. And then Sunday lunchtime came. I was like, right, I want to get out for a bit. Like I said earlier, I try and get out once a day at least now, out of here, just go for a walk for half an hour, 45 minutes, listen to a podcast. But I always have to walk past a charity shop. And I went in, ended up buying 15 shirts in the charity shop. So that spending ban lasted about 4 hours for me.
Yeah.
But charity shop wise, I don't really go into many charity shops anymore. I go to the one down the road, which I think Chop, who's also local, I think he knows the one as well. So maybe I've got more competition, I think, in there. And I go in there because they price it to sell. So they're very much a case of they're putting things out, and most of the clothing in there is £1 an item. Some things are sort of £3, but they price funny because sometimes they'll price Tesco jeans because they've got the label on at £4. And then they got like a pair of like Abercrombie and Fitch jeans for £1. It's very weird how they price things. But I go in there because it's local and they know me in there. And as I say, they help me out with some stuff in there as well. But I don't tend to go to charity shops personally because I source online from Vinted. I source at the car boot sales. And at the moment, I've got a few other avenues where, as I say, I'm not desperate for stock. In the winter months, that might change and I might be in more charity shops because I think we all hit that point in the winter where you might overstock from the car boot sales at this point. But we always, well, personally for me, I under egg how much stuff I actually need. And then normally when it comes to January, February time, everyone is doing online, everyone's doing charity shops, everyone's doing Facebook Marketplace again, everyone's doing auctions again because there's no other options and everyone's waiting for the car boot. So yeah, my charity shops, hit and miss. Sometimes I can go there, there's nothing. Sometimes I can go there, and as I say, 15 shirts, £1 each, and I'm in and out within 15 minutes, you know. So what about you, Georgie? What's your shops like, charity shops?
Honestly, I think I'm the same. With Tommy, I think I've never seen as much variety of stuff. Like it's weird because like I've been doing this for a while, and I go far and wide, and you can kind of see which areas are look like well off by the brands that get put out and everything, and you can see how. But then, yeah, you can go to like a place like Stoke-on-Trent, and there's like about 20 charity shops because it's like 5 towns essentially. It's like 20 charity shops, and then you're bound to pick up something. That's the thing. And then I can go into Cheshire and I can go to Crewe, Alsager, Nantwich, Sandbach, Maxfield. There's all that, and then there's like South Manchester. There's so many charity shops around here. It's insane, and it's not because there's no stigma in it anymore. There's, everybody shops at charity shops, but they're all in. There's that many around. I don't know. I just think like the variety of stuff has gotten a bit better this month. Anyway, I've been in charity shops where it's been absolutely awful, and there's nothing there. Hello, but there's been nothing there. I've gone to my local charity shop. There's about 3 in the town across the way, and I picked up like one thing. But the swings and roundabouts, it's the name of the game, isn't it? You're not going to win.
Well, Aaron's joined. Good to see you, mate.
Evening, mate. You okay?
Yeah. Do you want to first of all, we'll get you to plug yourself on social media, Instagram and stuff, where people can find you, and then we'll ask you the questions with regards to how far you travel when it comes to sourcing. So yeah, plug yourself. Let's do it.
I only have Instagram, and it's Aaron Sells 827, I think. That's I don't remember. I think it's Aaron Sells 827. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all the same when it comes to the Instagram stuff. It's like, I think it's this. If you search this, you might find it. But Aaron, to be fair, Aaron comments a lot of my stuff. So if you can't find him, go onto an Instagram post and you'll see Aaron's comments. So yeah, go and show him some love. So
if you want to see someone who moans about reselling, then come and follow me, because all I do is moan.
Yeah, you entertain me on your stories, to be fair, and stuff. Especially when you're saying about I won't repeat some of the stuff you say. You've got to go over and follow his Instagram. It's not rude, but I don't want to get him in trouble in case his missus is watching or listening. So yeah, go and give him a follow. But how far would you travel to source stock? On how far do you travel for your sourcing at car boot sales or charity shops?
Well, my Saturday car boot is about half a mile down the road. So I just walk to that with my trolley, and like I always imagine how funny it looks on the way home, like just pulling my trolley back, big pile of stuff. Yeah. And my Sunday car boot, there's a couple that I can go to. There's one a couple of miles away, East Lancs. I know people will know that, the East Lancs car boot. And then there's Bolton Stadium, which is about probably 15 miles from where I am. But it's a funny story. We went to Blackpool the other week, and I was like searching the internet, and we stayed at like the closest hotel to where the car boot was.
We all do it.
Up and at the car boot Saturday and Sunday. So
it's a strange bunch, us resellers, because I was saying about that earlier, how that's the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about we're going here for a weekend. It's always like, what car boots can I go to? Because don't get me wrong, the missus ain't going to get up at stupid o'clock anyway, let alone when we're on holiday. But she don't care if I piss off and go to the car boot sale for a couple of hours and then come back. And by that time, she's just about waking up anyway, so she doesn't mind. But in my head, it's like, I can't miss a weekend of sourcing. So where can I go? What can I find? And that's when I'll put things out on Instagram, go into this area. And there's so many people on Instagram who are helpful. You can just say, come to this car boot, go to this one, don't go to this one. This one starts at 5 a.m. If you're going to this one, you need to get there for this. And then there's an afternoon one if you fancy an afternoon one. So I think Instagram is such a powerful tool just for seeking that advice in the reseller community, because people happily tell you their car boot sale is the best car boot sale. Everyone's going to tell you their car boot sale is the best car boot sale, regardless of whether it is or not. So let me just catch up in the chat, and we'll have some more chat in here. Lucy's saying she doesn't like plugging herself, but she's 21 subscribers away from 600. Well, Lucy, lucky for you, I like plugging your channel as well. And so does Tam and Bell, who shared your channel in there. So, again, if you're not subscribed to Lucy, go and subscribe to Lucy's channel as well to get her up to 600 tonight. Project Weaver is in. Hello, hello, hello. This your other half, isn't it, Gigi, Tommy? Is that right?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Gigi hasn't been to a jumble sale since I was around 9. I never went to jumble sales when I was a kid. Always the car boot, but never a jumble sale.
It's funny you were saying about your missus isn't keen to jump out of bed in the morning, whereas like Gigi, she's just as excited to go sourcing as I am. So if I'm not feeling it, she'll get me out of bed.
To be fair, Leanne did say this weekend on Saturday, she was like, "Are you going to the car boot Saturday?" And I was like, "I go to the car boot every Saturday unless we have other plans." And she went, "Oh yeah, well, wake me up when you go." Bearing in mind, I leave the house at 5 on a Saturday. Wake me up when you go, and I'll let you know. And I was thinking in my head, there's no point waking you up when I go. Anyway, I woke her up and I said, "You come to the car boot." She went, "Oh, maybe next weekend." I was like, "Oh, it's one of them ones." So I don't bother asking anymore. We've got the legends in the house, luxury pickers. Bristol city centre is hard work for thrifting. Yeah, I've seen some of your videos in Bristol and Bath. And yeah, I think as soon as people shop in Bristol, you expect the charity shops to put everything as vintage and unique and all this stuff, and the prices go sky high. Let me just catch up on the chat, guys. Hillary says, no car at the moment, but have got some good bargains on vintage and eBay, mainly for 99p. Only starting in February and not doing too bad. Well, that's good to hear, Hillary. And yeah, vintage and eBay is good for sniping. People sleep on eBay for sniping as well. But there's lots of people who, like me at the moment, who are running these 99p clearance auctions to clear some of their old stuff. And it's probably still worth good money. They just don't want to deal with it anymore. So you can snipe off other resellers as well, which is good. Let me just scroll here. Right. So there's been an accusation for one of you guys here from Kathy. George ignores people completely when he's booting. True story. George, is that true?
Rude, Kathy, rude. No, I bumped into who did I bump into? I bumped into Chica reseller on Saturday, and I think Kathy was there at Adams's, but I didn't see her. I honestly didn't see her. I saw someone who I thought was it. I thought, is that her? And I was like, I don't want to go up and say, "Excuse me, are you Kath?" Because it would just be a bit rude if she says, "No, it's Angie," or something like that. Yeah, but no, I didn't. Yeah, you should say, if you see me, Kath, just run me over with your scooter, because that's the only way you're going to get my attention. Because Chico, I was just saying, like, Chico was like, George, and I was like totally oblivious until she was literally like next to me, and I was like, oh, but yeah, I'm not scary. I just look scary.
Yeah, I would say to people the same, because people watch you on YouTube, and a lot of people obviously will watch you. A lot of people haven't got channels, so I don't know what half the people look like. So I'll say to people, if you see me at the car boot, don't think I'm being rude and not saying hello to you. Yeah, come and say hello to me and tell me who you are, because sometimes I stand there oblivious, like, hello, like, don't have a clue who you are. Have I met you outside of reselling? Do I know you from so and so, so and so? So come and introduce yourself. But talking of scooters, that's another thing at eBoot. There's a guy who goes up and down the aisles on his motorbike or his scooter, like literally motorbike up and down the aisles. I was like, I've never witnessed this. That's a way to do sourcing. Forget the trolleys and walking, just go on the motorbike up and down. Shout out to one of my spanners as well, and I hate calling people spanners, it's rude, but Tamar Bell Spanners and our own Wii channel. So again, if you don't follow Tamar Bell, please do. Jamie's in. Hi all, I got a charity shop near me where everything is £2. Amazing. That's the kind of charity shop you want. Always picking up things. They always point out bits to me. Yeah, make friends with people, make friends, and that goes a long way. Back to earlier about having that relationship with charity shop. I used to get on well with the manager at Cancer Reset Warehouse, and she used to let me go at the back. Had some bolo, unfortunately, so he left. Yeah, my one was really weird, because she WhatsApped me saying, "Hi James, going to be taking a couple of days off. I'll let you know when I'm back in." And I said, "Yeah, no worries, no stress." Never heard from her again. So I don't know if she got the sack, and I hope it wasn't because she was doing me some good deals. Resellers Blueprint is in, and they have a channel as well. So again, let's plug the channels.
I've got two. I've got two really, really good charity shop contacts like that. She saves like stuff for me, and like she I mean, I put something on Instagram probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. I was asking her, and I always have to remind her to check places because she's dead forgetful. And I'm getting a few bits, just a standard pickups, nothing exciting. And I'm like, well, what's in your drawers? And have you got out in the drawers? And she's like, oh, I have actually. Yeah, she pulls out 2 cameras, flips one of them over, Olympus Mu 2. I was like, I said, I'll take it. I said, how much do you want? And then we settled on a price anyway. And obviously my heart was pumping, and that as I was seeing this Olympus Mu 2. I was with the missus on WhatsApp. I said that was a major score, and like now she's got my number. She texts me. So I have 2 from the same charity shop, but in different towns that I like. It's really down to earth. They know what I do. But then there's another one near me, and that woman just detests resellers. I can tell.
Yeah.
Like I walk in and I just get a look, and everything's priced up. And as much as I love getting stuff off like my contacts, when I find something in her shop, it's the best feeling in the world. When I'm going to the till and I've got a big smile on my face, like
you're underpriced this one.
Yeah. I feel like just like doing a celebration as I'm leaving a shop, like I've got one over here. But for me, I personally, I think charity shops are on the whole dead. Like it doesn't. I force myself to go in them at the moment because we're doing a lot of car boots and there's always like trails, like yard sales and stuff like that going on, and we've just got a lot of stock as well at the moment. That's like just sitting there doing nothing that we need to get on the listing. But yeah, charity shops can be hit and miss, can't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, going back to what you said there, just be careful, Aaron, of asking ladies what they have in their drawers.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I knew that was coming.
I was going to say,
I knew that was coming.
Get a slap, not the good stuff. So
I knew that was coming.
Gigi's obviously been paid off tonight, loving the chat, but we understand why now because Tommy's in. That's why. So yeah, big Bristolian boy. Yeah, absolutely. K-Dad00 is in. I hope I pronounced that right. K-Dad, that's how I read it. So that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Hello. The old man's in. Evening all. 4 boxes of bubble wrap here for you. That's not for you, lot. It's for me. He's got bubble wrap. He messaged me the other day and said, I've got some bubble wrap. And I was like, I'll take it. Isn't that weird as well? Like for my dad, like he wants to give me gifts and it's reselling related. And I'm so excited about it. I'm all for it.
I realized I was walking to my friend's house yesterday on Saturday to go to one of his parties, and we've had this thing where the bin men have gone on strike or something, or they're not like picking up the rubbish, and I realized how much packing material is being thrown away every single week by people on your local streets. And I had it's a bit crazy, but I had a thought of like, well, the night everyone puts their bins out, you could just take an IKEA bag and go and grab all of the Amazon packaging, all of the bubble wrap. Obviously, you don't pick it up if it's got a load of muck on it or if it's really dirty. But there's so much stuff out there for free that you can just grab if you have a bit of initiative and take the time and energy to do it, rather than say, I'll happily pay my money and get it delivered. Like, there's always a way to do stuff, especially if you're tight on a budget.
When I first started eBay, that's exactly what I done. I used to go to the garden centre all the time and just literally go and speak to the manager and say, can I take all them cardboard boxes you have sitting there? And they used to love it. And in fact, they used to come and help me load them into the car at the time because it's getting out of their way. So yeah, it's a good tip because the packing materials does add up and it gets expensive. It's okay ordering, sometimes I'll order 200 boxes of eBay and it's about 70 quid for 200 cardboard boxes. And so you're very much a case of you can get all that stuff free. As you say, if you're on a budget and when you are starting, you're building things up, take all the free packaging and you'll be surprised, even jumping on Facebook Marketplace, the amount of people who are moving who just want the boxes out of their hallway and just give them to you for free. So yeah, you don't have to spend money.
They'll even deliver them to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to get them out of the way. There are Tamar Bell jumping straight in. When can they collect the bubble wrap? No, it's my bubble wrap, all right? He offered to it me first. So let me just make sure I haven't missed anyone. I did say a hi from Lisa, who also said prices are too high in my charity shops. And I think that's a common theme. A lot of people see charity shops. I know British Heart was mentioned earlier, I believe, from George. And our British Heart is like ridiculously priced. I'm talking about higher than like retail and some of the stuff, but they don't get it. And you try and explain to them in a nice way. Yes, Sully Army for me is like the cheapest. It's area to area, but even when you try and explain to them in like a nice way to say like, look, at the end of the day, like because I'm very open, I say like I'm a reseller. This is what I do, but I can't buy stuff from here. And they'll ask me why, and I'll explain to them. I said, look, you're asking £10 for this. Let me give you an example. £10 for a shirt that on eBay I could sell for £10 to £12. And they're like, yeah, but you can still make £2 profit. And it's like, you're not understanding how it works because yes, you say I can make £2 profit. Once the eBay fees have come off that, I'm well in the minus. Once I pay tax, I'm well in the minus. I have to pay storage fees. And this. You have to kind of explain to them. And to be fair, some charity shops have kind of said, okay, I understand, like, we'll look at our pricing. But most just think like, oh, bloody resellers think we're only here for them. And I get it. They're not there for us. A charity shop is not there for us resellers. But we should be their best friends because we're the ones who are going to buy so much stuff from them, which means they're going to hit their targets, which means their manager's going to be happy, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, sometimes it is that education, but most of the time they don't want to hear it. So there's no point doing it.
The British Art Foundation doesn't even have the feel of a charity shop to me. It feels a lot more like a standard kind of like commercial retail place than a charity shop. But I mean, with regards to the prices, there's one not too far near me. There'll be people in the chat that know Salford Precinct. If you don't know what Salford Precinct looks like, if you just envision Chernobyl in your head, then you probably got a good idea. And I'm not even joking. Google Salford Precinct. It's an absolute dump. And I don't mean that nastily, but they're outpricing the demographic of that area. And I was in there. I never go in. I never, ever go in. But I needed to go CEX today. And I just popped in out of, like you do, resellers' curiosity. And I had a little chuckle to myself. I must have not been in that shop for about 6 months. And I just looked up to the top shelf. And there was stuff there that was still there from 6 months ago, January time. And I was just like laughing in my head thinking, and this charity shop, by the way, the contacts I was telling you about, they work for the same charity in different areas. And like, I openly tell them, I say they don't get a pound off me because the pricing ridiculous.
Let me just catch up on some of this stuff here. So Caroline says she gets her best stuff in the charity shops. I commented on Bold Finds post the other day, Tommy, about how big Hengrove car boot is in the summer. Tommy will be able to tell you it's huge. Yeah, so Bristol is on the list for the roadshow, so I will be heading there. Kind of Bristol, Cardiff. I was going to go to Cardiff this Sunday, but after this weekend, I'm knackered. I want to stay local. But yeah, Bristol and Cardiff will be happening very, very soon. Kathy's asked, Aaron, whereabouts are you from? Did you say Bolton earlier?
Yeah, Salford.
Salford.
From Salford, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Brum's in. We were talking about John earlier. How was Furness? So John recommended a second car boot sale. I headed further up north, John, closer to where my end destination was. And I went to a car boot sale just outside of Derby. It was. And it was really small. But I'd done really well. That video's coming up Thursday. I edited that video today. But although the car boot sale was small and I arrived about 3 hours later than everyone else when it opened, there was so much good stuff still there. Which just goes to show with any car boot sale, don't think if you do oversleep and you're not first in the line, you're not going to get good stuff. It just goes to show, I done better at the smaller car boot sale going later than I did at eBoot in regards to the amount of stuff I picked up. Like I was saying earlier, you just never know. But yeah, John, I did shout you out earlier, but big shout out to John. Really looked after me at the car boot sale with the VIP package he got for me at eBoot. And I haven't told him the ins and outs, John, but I've said you might have some potential good footage coming up on the channel of some drama at the car boot. And we all know everyone in the YouTube land loves the drama. So good to see you, mate. It was good to catch up. We had a really good chat. Just also going back to John as well, for people who are close to where John is, he's doing a meetup in August, the end of August. I want to say it's the 27th or 28th. It's a Saturday. So I'm hopefully going to get along to that as well. So if anyone wants to go to the meetup, check out John's Instagram and his channel and he'll give you the details on there. Shabba's in as well. Oh, see what I mean about the spanners. Tamar Bell, Aaron's Instagram. So there we go. Show Aaron some love on Insta. Kathy says they're in. Now, how would you say that? I always say Bury, but people probably say Berry. There's no E. Where's the E in there? Bury. There's no E. So, okay, Berry. Aaron, we're in Bury. So how far is Bury from you, Aaron?
Salford and Bury share the border.
And is that Salford as in near Manchester, Salford?
Yeah, as in...
So I'm going off the football club?
Yeah, as in Gary Neville, Salford City. And there's actually... you could get placed in what you think is Manchester city centre, and you're actually in Salford. So like
controversial.
Yeah. I get quite you're in Salford, you're not in Manchester. Like it is a little bit of controversy with it.
And that's another place on the roadshow, Liverpool, Manchester. And so what I plan to do, I plan to do a Bristol Cardiff weekend thing. Although Bristol's not too far for me to drive, and North Cardiff, but Manchester is definitely going to be Manchester Liverpool hotel stay, because there's no way I'm driving up to Manchester, driving all the way home, and then driving up to Liverpool, driving all the way home. So I'll need to check in with you, Aaron, to find out if there's any good Saturday boot sales in Manchester if I go to Liverpool on a Sunday. So I need to work out what I'm planning to do. So we'll hook up and we'll definitely meet up at the car boot. And same for you, Tommy, as well. When it comes to Bristol, we'll meet up as well with I think it was Carpy, wasn't it, earlier? Yeah, there we are. So it'd be good for some of you to come to the car boot, say hello, and meet in person. It's always really weird when you see people in person after speaking to them online. But yeah, it'd be good to meet up. Double Karma says, I'm rather lazy when it comes to charity shops. I don't go charity shopping as often as I used to. Yeah, I'm a bit like that. I should probably go into the town centre one a bit more, because it's a 10-minute walk down the road for me. But I haven't had much luck there. And I think it's one of them, if you find a charity shop you get good stuff from, you're always thinking to yourself, I'm always only going to go back to that one. So maybe I need to open up my eyes a bit more and just give it another go. There we are, 6 more for 200. Tommy Trades, and that chat was a while ago, so I think you might even hit the 200 hopefully for the end of the live. There we are, 5 more you've got, so you'll have to update us if you hit the 200 during the live. 100%.
I'll have a check now, see where we're at.
Yeah, see where we're at.
196.
196. So 4 of you need to go and sub. All right, if you haven't subbed, 4 of you need to go and sub now.
I'm gonna unsub.
Oh, well, there we are. You're 495 now. Right. So Shabba saying, I recycle approximately 80% of the cardboard I use, approximately 40% of plastic since I work from home part time. Unfortunately, it would be more, but I can't use glass jars as filler from the bin. Yeah, don't use glass as void filler. It doesn't go well. But have any of you used reused packaging and had either a customer complain, or even worse, say you've sent me the wrong item and they refuse to open the box? Because I've had that before. I've sent a box, I think it was, do you know what the funny thing is, on my eBay post, I need to change it. It's always smoke-free, pet-free house. And all they've got to do is watch the YouTube and see our 2 cats what appear all the time. But I sent a package in a, you get cat food, like Felix cat food, and it comes in the cardboard box. And it's not disgusting because it's not like the food's in there. I sent that box with an item once in. And the person messaged me and said, you've sent me cat food. And I was so confused. And then it clicked what I had done. And I said, no. The item's in there. It's just the box I've used to try and reuse packaging. And he's like, no, you've sent me cat food. I'm returning it. And he returned the item to me without even opening it. It was crazy. But If any of you had that before, where someone has either kicked up a stink that you've used an old Amazon box to send them the item, wherever it may be. George is nodding.
I have to specify in my listing that I use upcycled and recycled packaging, and I kind of use it as a way to say, like, we're not doing the environment any more damage. I'm already using what's out there. So I try and use it as a way to get the sale.
What about you, Aaron?
Yeah, I've had a similar situation where I'd sent something that had been in a package for something else. And I got a message off someone that was like quite aggressive. Not like I'm going to come and punch your face in or anything like that, but more like, you've sent me this, blah, blah, blah. And I literally just replied and put, open the box. And then like a couple of hours later, I got a message like, oh, I'm so sorry. I've opened it and it's in there. But yeah, like one thing I've learned is you can never underestimate quite how stupid some people can be.
Yeah, you get that a lot in the reseller world. And I had the guy I shared on Instagram. I had the guy the other day message me about poor Gordon the Gopher. Like, it's not his fault Schofield's done all what he's done. That. And he was like, basically like, how can you do this? And I replied back to him basically saying like, look, it's not Gordon's fault. And he was like, yeah, fair enough, like, kind of thing. But you do get some weird messages. But then sometimes I think to myself, Are people doing it as a laughy, jokey thing? I think a lot of the time people do. And so I just react like in a way, same as I was selling something with Rolf Harris face on the front, one of them old musical things, or whatever, in the box. And someone was like, I can't believe you're selling something with Rolf Harris. And I was like, look, I didn't do what Rolf Harris done, all right? It's not my fault. So, but Georgie, what about you? Do you sell things and send things in reused packaging?
Yeah, all the time. I get my boxes from the spa where I deliver my parcels because they know what I do, and they always say, "Oh, well, if you need any boxes, come on a Wednesday because that's when we do the turnaround." So I get wine boxes because they're double thick, they're really thick, and they're really good. So that's where I get the majority of them. But my mum, she works at a hospital, and she's a nurse, and she gets like, so there's some really good boxes that she gets. She also gets these little plastic boxes that go to the incinerator, the plastic ones. Stupid. Anyway, so she gets them and then brings it back, and they're only like that big, but they're perfect for like small items. But she works in I've forgotten the medical term, but basically down like the esophagus and stuff like that, and they put like cameras down and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but they need like surgical lubricant. And I think I put it on my Insta actually about this. This is a while ago. But like she brings boxes back and they've got like surgical lubricant or just like lube on the front, honestly.
Oh no.
And I remember this so much. It was a Baymax toy from Big Hero 6, and I put it in the box. I packaged it up, sent it off, no issue. And I got a message, and it's the same with Aaron. This guy was like, "Oh, what are you doing me sending this? It's just a box of lube." And I was just like, "Have you opened it, you numpty?"
Yeah,
I just said
he's thinking who's been shopping on Love Honey. That's what he's thinking. Like, who's been buying stuff from there, and it's just you sending him an action figure, you know?
Pretty much, yeah. But then he opened it. He went, "Oh, sorry, I didn't open it," and I was like, "What?" But I think he left really funny feedback. I think he left some really funny feedback. I think he was just like, "Oh, it was my own idiotic self," you know. Tears. Yeah. He said the box of lube threw me. I was like, "Yeah."
Just me and my missus was talking before. I was on a rant. Like I have rant daily. Me, honestly, I am a ranter.
I was gonna say that's a reason to follow Aaron on Instagram, because he does have his daily rant. It's brilliant.
Oh, honestly, and I was ranting at her, and then like I just stopped for a minute, and I started laughing, and I said, all the stuff I rant about, I would miss if it didn't happen. Like when you're at a car boot and like they're asking ridiculous price for an item. And I don't mind people trying to get like a fair price. It's their prerogative. But when someone's asking a stupid price, and at that moment in time, I walk off like, no, what's he been on? But you go home and you laugh about it, or you know, you get these stupid messages on eBay and you're like face planting, like, where are these people from? But without it would be so boring.
Yeah. You got to take a deep breath.
They're only like half rants. It's half rant, half like comedy value. You know what I mean?
It is funny. I do enjoy every time I see a stories come up from you. I'm like clicking it, thinking like, "Come on, be a rant, please be a rant." I like
losing my wallet or my keys or something like that. Leaving them in the lockup.
Always sorry,
I can't believe that.
How long were you there? 24 hours. Just like went to the unit, got my orders. Phone must have gone, or honestly, I think goldfish have a bigger memory span than me. If I get distracted, whatever I've been doing 1 second ago is just gone. So I've been packing my orders on like the trolleys that they have at the unit, and I leave my keys in a lock. And then I have to have like a routine of like saying to myself, "This is how weird I am." Like, orders, lock, go. Like I say it in my head, orders, lock, go. And I think my phone or something must have gone off. And I just walked off without my keys, gone about my daily business. At night time, I said, have you come across the keys? And she's like, no. And then I'm ranting, I'm finding a place to keep my keys. I'm sick of losing them. I'll have to get them to give me the spare key tomorrow, won't I? And then I got there and I thought, I'll go and check. She's like, I bet you've left it in the lock. I'm like, why would I do something so stupid? I'm not stupid, you know. I got to the lockup, but the keys were in the lock.
Oh, was she there with you at the time?
No, but I texted her. I sent her like a photo.
No, I would have said no. They weren't in the lock. They were handed in by someone else. They weren't left in the lock. They found them in the car. I wouldn't have admitted it. I'd have been too ashamed. I'd have been too ashamed. Crystal saying here they had a local animal rescue charity. Yeah, some of the animal rescue charities, can't get my words out. See, there's an outtake, Tommy. I could have my videos. They used to be my favourite. Now they have a new manager and the prices have gone crazy. Yeah, that sometimes happens when the new manager comes in. The prices just change overnight. And it is pretty mental. Right, let me get to the bottom of the chat. Kathy says she taught Gary Neville. There we are. What about Philip? You must have taught Philip Neville as well. Were they in the same class? Who knows? Barton Airport Saturday, James.
Yeah, that's mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good one. Is it the Barton Airport?
It's hit and miss. They have early bird entry.
Yeah.
At 8 o'clock, and then regular entry at 9 o'clock. But it's hit and miss. Hit and miss. Like every
Double Karma was asking me about when I'm going to visit her local car boot. I need to have a look at Hampshire area to see where that is and what the plans are. With the roadshow at the moment, Double Karma, I honestly don't have dates set because it's very much weather dependent as well. You know, the last thing I want to do is kind of say, right, on July the 12th, I'm coming to Liverpool. And it'd be pouring down with rain because there's no way I'm travelling that far if it's raining. And so with the likes of Liverpool, Manchester, and the ones where I have to book a hotel, I'd probably let people know on the Thursday or Friday I'm coming that weekend because I'll book a hotel last minute just because of weather and stuff as well. So I will keep you updated on that. Let me just see. So Z's in. Only cool stuff. Z is in the house. Hope you are well. I'm trying to remember where C is from, where he's located. Where's that?
It's in Preston.
Preston. My geography's awful. Whereabouts is Preston? North. It's near Cumbria.
Yeah,
Blackpool.
Yeah, that way.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Hopefully I head up that way. It'd be good to meet up with Z, actually. I've been a long time fan of C, watching his stuff on YouTube. So, right, this a while ago. One more 200 for Tommy Drake. We hit it.
Let's go.
Hold on. Stay there. Keep talking about something else. Is there something I can do? I've seen people do some random stuff. What about this? Hold on. I can do this. That's awful, isn't it, really? I should have had something prepared for like a celebration. I've seen some channels where they do like fanfares and stuff, but I can't do that. But anyway, we're just going to celebrate. Good stuff, mate. I'm pleased.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for supporting. And that's a good thing about the reseller community. And I found when I started my channel as well, so good for people to shout out other channels, and people do it all the time. And there's Georgie in his new area. Have you just moved rooms, Georgie, without us seeing?
What?
He's froze as well. He's trying to rush fancy things, and now he's froze. Yeah, but it's great. You're just in your new. Oh, no, you're back now.
There we go.
Yeah, you must have moved to the second room in your house of your 12-room house.
I was going to say I had a story about you were saying about with you, Aaron. You sort of go into that rant mode and you allow yourself to vent out your stress like that way.
Okay.
For me, I very much get hit with like a wall where I instantly get like, well, what do you mean? Like, why can't you see it from my perspective? And then I have to think, well, no, they're not in my shoes. I've got to like revert myself back. But I actually go back to like when I was at Tesco for like 8 years and I was in customer service and the amount of crappy people you got to deal with. But I couldn't say what I really wanted to say because it was for the face of the company or whatever.
I've worked at Tesco's.
Yeah, but I sort of apply that same mindset to when I'm trying to respond to someone now. So like if I respond instantly, I know I'm going to say something I'm going to regret. Whereas if I leave it to the next day, I'm actually going to respond in like a customer or more professional or appropriate way. And like for me, I just don't ever want to allow something to come and bite me back in the butt. Like if I say something to a customer and then they go off to eBay and create a whole deal out of it. Like, have you ever experienced any kind of backlash like that?
Not in particular. No, I tend to try and respond to somebody how they initially like reach out to me. I put on my Instagram today, somebody sent me an offer for something that's on bidding. It's probably worth about £80, and they sent me an offer for 20 quid. So I replied with an offer for £10,000. Basically, if you want to insult me like that. But I never swear in messages. I always try and like, and if I feel like somebody's trying to have me over, I always try and give them like an opportunity to surrender from what they're doing as well. Like if, for example, if they're saying they haven't received an item and it's tracked and it's been delivered, I'm always like, my head's saying it's been delivered, you absolute tool. I know it as you're trying it on, but my message is saying, could it be with a neighbour? Have you checked next door or anything like that? Like, I mean, some guy on Vinted, on my missus' account, bought some trainers off us, and they got uploaded as delivered, and within 1 minute, I have a problem on Vinted, item not arrived. So we checked on every, I hate using every, but we checked on every, and they took a picture of the door where it was. I was straight onto Street View, Google Street View, checking the door, screenshotting that, sending it her on WhatsApp and say, send him that and tell him that's his front door. And then he was, within 2 minutes, he's like, oh yeah, I've got it. But in regards to like customer service and face-to-face, I'll just quickly tell you something that I did once when I was like 18, so like a long time ago. I was working in a phone shop, and the phone shop was busy, and a customer walked in with his wife, and he slammed his hand down on the desk as he came like to where I was serving, and everyone in the shop was like looking at me, and I could feel like the embarrassment, like, you know, you go red like in the shop. And he's shouting and swearing, and I thought, all right, mate, let's have a look. He's going on about his bill. So I checked his bill, and he'd been texting like a little short code. And normally what I would say in that situation, like, have you been texting like X Factor or competitions or something that's been like charging you? You know, like just to try and like not tell the whole world what he'd been doing. But I thought, nah, you ain't coming in here embarrassing me like that. And we had this system where you could put the number in, and it'll tell you the company. So I typed it in and I went, your bill's that high, mate, because you've been texting local chat and date services. And his wife just went, Peter, I thought we got past this. And like stood out. And I could see my boss like giving me the eyes. And I was just like, if he would have come in and just been all right, then I would have been all right. But he came in and treated me like an idiot. So he got his pants pulled down.
Yeah. I think we've all done it many a times where you type out that message and then you're like, I need to delete this message. I can't send this. Yeah. I've done it many a time where you just, in that moment, you get frustrated. And sometimes I need to try to just type it out to rant there and then. Yeah. And then deleting it's like, hi, hi, so-and-so, sorry you're not happy, with blah, 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 the rest of the message. But what you were saying there, Aaron, about the whole thing about where people say it hasn't arrived, I love the fact now with every, they take a picture of it. So I will send the picture to them and say, are these your socks? And you see them with the package standing at their front door with their feet. And it's always the same story. Oh, sorry, I've made a mistake. It's not your item that hasn't arrived. It's someone else's item. No worries, apologies. And it's like, no, it's not. You just didn't know that we have these photos we can see. And luckily, what I will say of eBay, all you need to do is take the emotion out and just say to that person, please open up a return through eBay. If you're saying the item has not arrived, they'll do it. You upload the tracking number. eBay have got you covered. So I just now take all the emotion out, especially with that item hasn't arrived. It's like, I can see it has, but just open up a return request, we'll look into it, and then leave it to eBay.
And if you're really polite, it winds them up even more.
Yeah,
the famous kind regards at the end, and it's like that basically.
Try kindest regards. That really gets people.
Yeah, kindest regards. Yeah.
My missus always puts hun in the message as well.
Oh, don't hunt them off.
I was going to say, I've got a story on nicing people who are being a bit weird to you online, selling you something, but I'll save it for a future video.
Oh, look at that.
To be quite a lengthy story.
You're a real YouTuber when you're doing that. Like, if you want to see the story, check out a future video. That's what you got to do. Right, can't be much longer because I promised the wife I'm spending it with her tonight. The reason I'm not going live tomorrow is her birthday tomorrow. So I said, right, because I'm doing the UK live for the group, I will spend some time with you tomorrow evening and time with you tonight. So we'll get to the bottom of the chat. Jack's in. Hello, Jack. Tama Bell said the blue to black or the black to blue background celebrations class. Yes, I try and give you the best content I can on these lives. I saw earlier someone said, and I agree, Aaron, you need to do a YouTube channel. Such a funny chap. So there's something you should be thinking about, Aaron. And I used to always say I would never do YouTube, and here I am on a live on a Monday chatting to you boys. So
I honestly
have a little think.
I don't think I've got the time. We've got like 2 preschool age children, and just recently what I've done is I used to spend a lot of time listing during the day. But I mean, George knows. All you guys actually know. You're all on Insta. But I got a photo box, just so like my smaller items, I can list downstairs at night time now. I'm not.
Yeah, you got to work it.
You
got to work it around your children. Yeah.
I don't think, and I'm very much. I'd probably start it, do 30 videos in a month, and then I wouldn't upload for about 4 years. Somebody's got to say.
Oh. That's it. Hold on a second. Interrupted the conversation with Kaching. What have you sold? We need to know now.
I've sold a Linkin Park T-shirt.
Nice.
It's all right.
A live sale. It rarely happens to me, I must be honest. What we got here? Kathy says, James, you might be better doing go to Blackpool area. There, see JR. I speak to JR and James quite a bit. Fix it. I've had him on the channel before. Okay, so that might be a shout. I'm gonna link up with JR and Z to see the plan, and we'll get something planned, I'm sure. Alison has just trumped me with my trip to Birmingham because she went thrifting Toronto. I always, and I keep saying it, if this roadshow for the UK goes well, I want to go and do that big yard sale in America, the long one that takes a week. But then there's always that thing about how am I going to get the stuff back? It's okay going out there hiring like a nice little camper van to stay in for a week and doing the long yard sale, but how am I going to get stuff back? I would have to stick to only clothing. I couldn't be picking up bread makers and lawn bowls and all this random crap that I do before, because you don't
grand in a shipping container to bring it all back.
Yeah. There's no profit left, is there? But
I'm I've now busted my business because I needed a shipping container to bring it back.
Well, we should all British resellers go on mass and all go halves on a shipping container.
Just ship over 20 pallets. Just ship over 20 pallets. Here we go. Let me just.
There are companies out there that allow you to buy portions of shipping containers. I won't go into it too deep, but I used to work for a company that taught you how to sell on Amazon, and the whole Amazon FBA, start with private label, and basically I would help them produce video content for their course. And it was really interesting to see this whole cycle of this extra game that was going on basically, and that there's this secret way of making money that no one knows about it. I forgot where I was going.
Amazing. No, you didn't end it with I'll save that for a future video. See, that's what you got to do. You got to just sow the seed. Cherry says, go home in the shipping container with the goods. That's an idea. So instead of booking a flight home, just go in the shipping container. I'm sure it'd be all right. A long flight from America in a shipping container with loads of stock on top. I'm sure you're going to survive. That is not good advice, by the way. So if anyone's watching this back and does it and ends up dying, it's not my fault, all right? Everyone's saying happy birthday to the wife, and she is watching. She normally does watch. So she says, thank you, everyone. I appreciate everyone saying happy birthday. And on that note, Leanne, we'll leave your comment there, and I am going to end the chat because I guess you're home now, and I guess you want me to come and spend some quality time with you instead of doing all this YouTube stuff. Just a quick, well, first of all, I'm going to let everyone plug themselves one last time before I do my plug on my channel and my video that's coming out in 15 minutes. I have a video coming out. So let's start with, I'm going to go from bottom left. So Aaron, let's start with you. Once again, where can people come and find you, and what's your hilarious rants?
They can find me on Instagram, and it's simply AaronSells87. But if you don't mind, I've got a friend that's a reseller. He's just gone full time. He does watch your stuff. He's probably subbed to your channel. He's called the Bargain Hunter UK. So if people would subscribe to that YouTube channel, that'd be much appreciated.
Amazing. So it's the Bargain Hunter UK.
Yeah.
Amazing. I don't know if Tam is still here as a spanner. Tam, if you can find that channel, if you're still here, and plug that into the chat as well, just so it's there. But everyone go and sub to the Bargain Hunter UK, and I'll do so after this as well, but I haven't done already. Tommy, once more, a plug. So 200 subs on YouTube now, which is good. But where can people find you?
Thank you very much, first of all, for having me on the live stream and for all the support. It's
no worries.
Much appreciated. Very grateful. But you can find me at Tommy Trades, and my @ is Tommy Trades, or at Tommy Trades 96, and that's on YouTube and on Instagram.
Amazing. So everyone go and follow Tommy on Instagram and YouTube. Also, I've just put in there before we go to Georgie, Belle's got her channel as well, so please go and follow that one and subscribe to Belle. And there we are. They've done me a huge favour there. Bargain Hunter on YouTube. So everyone go and sub to Bargain Hunter. And Aaron, you can say that you sent us over to them. So good stuff. But Georgie,
£5 for each sub.
Yeah, well, I was thinking if we split that, you and me, because it's my live, so we split it half and half. Yeah, just tell him.
Yeah,
250 each. Right?
Yeah, suits me.
I'm happy with that. Georgie, one more for you. Where can we come and find you?
George, that's all it is. JWG. Yeah, I'm on the YouTube and Instagram. And if you've got any questions, because I've had a load of people question me today about stuff, and I was just sat here, answering back. But yeah, come and ask me questions if you want any, like, secondhand B-rated knowledge of how to do this. Because
any questions or just reselling related questions? Are you open
any
to
questions? Yeah, I'm open to the universe.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions anyone has, if someone wants to know what they can have for dinner tomorrow, just message Georgie and he's happy to answer. Good stuff. I've got to plug myself, obviously. Bold Finds on YouTube. You're here, so you know I am. Bold Finds on Instagram. I never plug the eBay store because I don't expect anyone to buy anything. But all you got to do is Bold Finds. You'll find everything. I've tried to keep it easy. New video coming out at 7:45 this evening because I didn't want to do it at 8 because I don't want to clash with Cooking Hayden's live. So all go and watch that one. It's a car boot sale one. Brun resellers in it. There might be some drama that I didn't capture, but there's a little bit of a story at the start, and there's also some drone footage. So that's not enough to get you to go and watch the video. And I saw Georgie put it earlier. Likes are free, so please like this live on the way out. Comment in there how far you travel to a car boot, and finally, not first of all, we're not starting again. Finally, a big shout out to you three for being brave to hop in on the random, come and join me live. And I know you guys do YouTube, but for someone like Aaron who doesn't do YouTube, it's a big thing to come and talk to random strangers on the internet. So yeah, shout out guys. And finally, Chris is not on tonight. Movie chats are taken over. So everyone hop over to movie chats and go and watch that one. And I'll be doing the same if I'm allowed to. I probably won't be allowed, but we'll give it a go. But yeah, guys, thanks again. And thanks to the live chat. Good to see you all. I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Thanks for having us on. Have a good one.